either way, I can have it looking pristine.
No, yeah. Buff it, ship it to me.
Okay, let's do it that way. And then what we can do is I can get you checked out over here at my desk if that works for you. Let's make this happen.
Spring bar failure.
No way.
Had it in my girlfriend's purse.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
No way.
It's gone. So
like maybe like snatch and grab out of the purse
maybe, possibly.
Dang.
Maybe possibly.
So that's why you're replacing it. It's because it's literally just vanished.
It's gone.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Because it lives on my wrist.
Right.
Now, if I ever need a service, y'all don't do any in-house servicing, do you?
So we have a watchmaker who can do the service for you. So if it's within the first 2 years, anything with that movement, obviously don't leave it open and get water in it. No. But if it's just something where the movement's malfunctioning, you can ship it to me, my label, fully insured, within those 2 years, and my watchmaker will take care of it.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're just in town, but I was like, I think I can get this for him. Yeah. I had a guy here, so I'm glad we could work it out.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Nice meeting you. Travel safe. We'll be in touch. All right, guys. Well, that was Christian, and Christian called me literally just a couple hours ago and was like, hey, I lost a watch that I've been wearing for a really long time. It's always on my wrist, and it was the GMT-Master 300 diver black dial. He had a little malfunction with the spring bar, set it down, and gone. They think that maybe it was stolen, unfortunately, because they had set it down in a bag and thought it was secured. All that to say, after the heartbreaking story, he goes, look, I want to get a new one of those watches and I'm looking for these parameters. Can you find it? Can we do it quick? I'm in town from out of state, literally just for a few more hours. And this was a few hours ago. So I make some calls, I checked with one of my sources and I found one, gave him a call. I said, I can get this to you, I can ship it to you where you're at, we can lock it in today. So before he leaves to drive back home out of state today, he literally swings by WOLVYN, pulls the trigger, and just purchased his GMT-Master. So I'm excited for him because if you guys remember, this is the second time now that I've been able to help somebody who had a watch that was stolen, and they've been able to replace that watch with us for a really good price, and they're getting warranty on it, all of the stuff that helps them to feel super secure. Christian, I'm glad we were able to take the heartbreaking story and turn it into something good. You'll have your watch here in just a couple days, and I'm excited to get it back on your wrist.
Hey guys, so we got some really cool inventory. We actually got some inventory that we can do some comparisons with. There's a few of them that you don't see very often. I have a couple of them in this case that you do see quite often. This is the 126622. This is with the blue dial and the red hand. This is the watch that comes in and out of our store constantly. People love this watch. It's extremely popular. You can see this combo in many shops around the world, but there's a few that I have in here that are not as common to see in someone's showcase, but a lot of people like to wonder what they look like, how the sizing is, because they're more of a special order type of watch. This is the 37mm Yacht-Master, and I have it in the rhodium with the baby blue hand. And then I also have the chocolate dial two-tone rose gold in 37mm as well. So these two you don't see very often. Women love them. Also guys with smaller wrists who do a 36mm watch, they love these as well. One of these came from a female, the other one came from a male. So I mean, it just depends who you are, what you like, but 37mm is a great size. I think the proportions of this watch fit very much like a 36mm. You get the solid links, the dial is very legible, and you get the really big lume plops on there. And then one that you really don't see that often, it's actually quite a special watch. This came out in the early 2000s. This one particularly is from 2005, but this is a beautiful, what they call a Surdy dial. And it has diamonds on the indices and blue sapphires on the 12, 6, and 9. Beautiful watch. I don't know what it is, but this era of mother of pearl, I don't know if you can get that, Sam, like the detail of this dial, it pulls you in and it draws you into this dial because it's so dimensional. A lot of mother of pearls, like in the Datejust, they weren't as dimensional, they didn't feel so deep, but if you look at this dial and you kind of like swivel the watch around to get all the different angles of dimension, like it really pulls you in. It's very interesting to watch. I wish they would come back with this quality of mother of pearl, which I think they have. I haven't seen one in person yet, but they have the new MOP mother of pearl day dates, and those do look like they have a lot of dimension in those dials. Obviously, every dial is a 1 of 1 because they're real mother of pearl, so it depends the dial. So if you're ever interested in one of these, make sure the dial is very dimensional and one that you really love, because it's really amazing to be able to stare at it and get all the different angles you can out of this dial. This one also has the red script Yacht-Master on the dial as well. Super rare. This one is a complete box set. I believe we're asking somewhere around like 16,000 for this. So very, very, very good price for this watch. It comes with full links. Look at that stretch, 0 stretch on this watch. It was well taken care of. So I'm gonna hold up the 40 millimeter and the 37 millimeter. Which one would you guys do? Granted, both of these again are the modern versions of this watch, and then this one is also 40 millimeters, but it's the older style Yacht-Master. Let me know in the comments below which one of these 4 is your favorite and which one can you see yourself wearing and keeping in your collection. And again, these are going to be uploaded to our website. By the time this video comes out, some of them may or may not be sold, so make sure to go to our Instagram because we post on there daily. New inventory, fresh inventory that comes in each and every day. So feel free to follow us there at WOLVYN Official, and please leave a comment below. Tell me which one you like.
All right, guys, well, I just wanted to take a minute because this world of watches is really weird. I traded in a watch for a new knee. No, I'm just kidding. That's not really what happened, but it's very close. He's been on previous episodes, Jim. He's a client we've had throughout the years that became a really good friend. And he just so happens to be an orthopedic doctor, and he specializes in doing shoulder surgeries, knee surgeries, hip replacements, back surgeries, and things of that nature. And so, to preface, I injured my knee in high school playing football. Basically, I tore my growth plate when I was 16, which basically left me with no meniscus and nothing in between my bones, except for like very small margin of cartilage material or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, it's been like 18 years. I'm not the smallest of guys. I'm a pretty big guy. And so, you know, pretty quickly I was left bone to bone. I've been used to the pain for so many years at this point. It's just something I just kind of lived with. But recently, especially since I turned 30, I really started having some really big problems, and I started putting on a lot more weight than I used to be, things of that nature. It was really hard to get around, and it was compromising my quality of life and compromising my ability to be the dad I want to be to my boys. And so recently, I got up one day out of the pool, my knee cracked in a really weird way, and it caused a really big pain that left me almost without the ability of walking. I had to kind of limp everywhere for like a week and a half. So that happened, I kind of got over it, iced it, you know, took some medication, some pain pills, and I was back and going again in about a week and a half. Then a week and a half goes by and I did it again. And so for another 2 weeks this time, I was in pain, and so that's when I called Jim and I said, hey Jim, I know this is what you do for a living. Can you at least x-ray my knee and see what's going on? He said, sure, come on in. And so I came to see him, we x-rayed it, and we found out exactly what I knew. One, that my knee was needed, I was literally bone to bone with negative space. It was so bad, my bone was crushing my other bone, which was causing little shards of bone to kind of protrude, which was causing that pain that I was describing. The other thing is, when I first injured my knee, my bone healed improperly. So not only was it bone to bone, but it was also healed on the inside. So my leg used to have a bend out. So it would go like this, and literally my foot would normally be 4 inches to the left, which is crazy. I used to hide it a lot with the way that I walked, with the way that I stood. You guys might have even noticed it on some of the episodes, but it's something that was kind of embarrassing for me and crazy. But you know, what's crazy is Jim became a really good friend. You know, it all started with watches. He's the one that also did my mom's surgery, who has stage, you know, my mom has stage 4 cancer, which some of you guys might know. And he did my mom's surgery for free. Well, we were so indebted to him. You know, we've literally been trying to find a way to make it up to him for doing that for my mom. And instead, when I went to go see him, he volunteered to also do my knee, which is insane. So I wanted to take this time first off to thank you, Jim. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for stepping up on doing this. You didn't have to do this, but you've changed my life in a way that I can't ever explain. You know, it's crazy that I haven't been able to be there for my boys the way that I wish I would have been able to. It's affected my life, and you've changed my life. So moving forward, I'll be able to do things like going on walks and riding bikes with my boy that will also help my secondary problem, which is my weight loss journey. And so for that, I'm indebted to you. I'm really grateful, you know, and that leads us to where we are now. As of Friday of last week, today is August the 8th. On August the 2nd, which was today's Thursday, as of last Friday, he did my my full total knee replacement surgery, which repaired how straight my knee was. Now my knee is straight, still super swollen, and I have a cut from here to here. But basically what they do is they cut down the bone and they add metal plates, and then they put a plastic meniscus, if you want to call it that, to provide the cushion. So it's going to be a long journey to getting healed. I'm going through physical therapy, but I'm so excited and optimistic about the future, my mobility moving forward, and the ability to be the guy that I used to be. I used to be really active. I grew up riding dirt bikes, doing BMX, skateboarding, things of that nature, and my life was changed. I couldn't do that anymore. So I'm excited to really do that again. And so, Jim, only because it's relevant to this channel, and this is how I found you with doing watches and everything, and just how cool this watch community is, I wanted to thank you and share with you guys the story. Everybody down below, give Jim some love in the comments section. I know we are trying to, you know, bless him however we can, but Jim, I just pray that you have a blessed life. You're a great man, and thank you so much. Basically, I'm on the road to recovery now. I had a full knee replacement, and it's all thanks to Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Shopping, to be frank, but I want something a little bit unique.
Let me ask you, what do you think about this here? So we have, this is like a classic piece. It's just a sub. We have the sub date and the sub non-date, no date. They're both in mint condition. This one here is 2024, brand new. It's going for $13,500, which is really a great price. It's only a couple thousand over retail, so not far off. I want you to just maybe try it on. You know, if you're out and you did want the date on it, then this one might be better, but there's a slight price difference, maybe like $1,000 or so. But I think it's a sharp looking watch. I always recommend starting with a sub, or at least having a sub in your collection, because it's safe. The good thing about it as well is that they don't depreciate as much. They kind of hold their value really well. It's super robust. I wanted to also show you this Datejust. It's more of an olive looking green than the green that you're looking at with the OP, but I like the look of that watch. I know it's not the green that you were looking for, but
no, I mean, it's good to just kind of see it.
Just kind of try it on. But I love the look of like the fluted bezel with the Jubilee.
Right, no, it's just pretty watch.
Did we ever talk about a back row?
Yeah, do you have something like that, or a Batman?
So it actually sold. Remember I spoke to you yesterday and I had it and it's gone. But that's just kind of how it happens. These watches move quickly. The background, the Batman are really, really well known, and those watches just always sell. And as I mentioned to you, we can get you a back roll for maybe 18, 19.
Around there.
For a newer one, yeah.
Okay, so really you think probably you could get a green OP if I wanted, or a back roll if I wanted.
Whatever you want.
And then just so I see you guys do women's stuff too.
We sure do. The celebration dial is really fun, like for your wife or anything like that. I love that watch. We do have some Cartier. We also have a green dial Cartier here. Yeah, the Santos. This is actually the large. The medium would be
this watch too.
This one. Yeah, this is nice.
I almost got it like a few months ago, and then I just.
Sure. This one is brand new.
This is the large style.
Yeah, fully stickered. Now I will say this is safe too if you want to get this, but Cartier does depreciate very quickly.
Right, it's not going to be a...
Yeah, it's not something you would get to like, oh, let me resell it and make.
Just for...
Yeah, but you can comfortably wear it every day or wear it, you know, out, and it's still sharp. I really love the green dial. I feel like it's not as basic as just a regular Cartier.
I even like the new gray one they came out with. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
In my opinion, I would say put your money towards the OP as opposed to the Santos.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I guess that good stuff.
Yeah, we have a great collection of stuff. And the good thing about like here is that you might come in today and see a couple things, and then next week it's a whole different selection of pieces because we're consistently buying and trading and consigning. So it changes often.
How much is these Royal Lugs go for?
Depends on which one you're looking at, but
middle one,
yeah,
40.
They're gonna be up there, yeah. So 35 plus for a royal oak like that. Now we can, because your wrist is not as large, I think that a 37 millimeter royal oak would fit really nicely. I just sold one yesterday. It had like a really nice gradient gray dial, kind of like this, but just gray, very neutral. Stainless steel piece, I can get you something like that for 30. If you ever wanted to, maybe even high 20s, like later on in the future. But that's a good watch to have in your collection as well.
So it's a little smaller one.
Yeah, it's a little smaller. Still looks really, really good. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to come down from like the big pieces. Like nobody wants like a huge watch anymore.
No,
like
I don't like a really big watch.
Yeah.
I feel like it looks awkward.
Yeah, it's starting to become more regular to just like get smaller pieces and like have it be the centerpiece of your wrist, you know? So a 37 would be safe to get into if later you wanted to get into a royal oak, but you don't want to spend, you know, 35 plus on a watch.
A lot of my friends are into watches and they give me a hard time, like, you're the only guy we know who doesn't have a nice watch right now.
It's okay. I feel like you've taken your
What I
time.
like.
Yeah, taking your time to get the right one. You can't go wrong with a Batgirl.
Yeah.
Just can't. I wish I had one to show you.
And they fit the same as like this.
Yeah, so like if you wanted to, we can try on this Pepsi here. And this is gonna be the closest thing to the Batgirl because it has that half blue. The only difference is where the red is, it would just be black, but everything else is exactly the same, so.
So that's a beautiful one.
I really feel like that's the one that you should get. I like the OP. I feel like I was a little surprised that you were interested in the OP. Not that it's not a great watch, but I just think like dual functionality with this. You can measure 2 time zones. I'm sure you travel a lot, so that would come into good use for you.
This is beautiful. These
And-
are going for like 20 grand.
Yeah, that one I think is going for 20 exactly. But the price of the Pepsi has come down a lot since March. They were really high before, and so if you were ever to get a Pepsi, now is the time to do so because now is the best time as far as price points go.
You like the standing mirror?
Yeah, please check it out. Of course.
And the
those
bracelet will be the same?
exactly the same.
Yeah, I definitely would do it.
I feel like your friends would be proud of you.
Yeah, I know. Right?
You see it online, you can shoot me a text and say, hey Nicole, can you get this? We can source anything.
Then probably that's the best thing to do is let me go with my wife, see what the plan is, but I'm probably leaning more towards the Batgirl maybe.
Yeah.
Or even that is really nice.
Thank you so
Alrighty,
much.
thank you. Have a good one.
Take care, Ali. Bye-bye. Ali just came in for the first time into WOLVYN. I actually met him a few months ago. We've been talking for a few months now. He's new to the watch world. He, as he mentioned, doesn't have anything in his collection right now. And when he initially reached out to me, he was looking for a Batgirl, which at the time we had several options here in stock, but I think he was just unsure. He also didn't know like difference of, you know, retail pricing versus secondary market. He continued to like still do his research and think about the watch, and then he reached out to me again and he asked me if I had a 41 millimeter green OP, which I get those a lot, but I didn't have any in stock. Looks like this. It's very familiar. You can't, you know, go wrong with this green dial. You've seen it, I know you have, and it's a great watch. Now, very simple, definitely entry-level watch if you're just starting off, an OP safe, but I know that he wants the Batgirl. It was initially what he asked for, and we don't have one here, unfortunately, but I think it's just the safest thing to get into, especially for someone who's new to the watch world. It's a watch that he'll probably have in his collection and he'll get good use out of. He also travels a lot, so I think that the GMT is just the safest bet for him. And if you're gonna put that much money into a watch, why not get something that you're really gonna love? So I'm gonna start sourcing him one, see if I can get him one to get him to commit to it. We're gonna see what we can find for him and hopefully we can close him.
All right, guys. Henry came in yesterday, and he was wearing a bust-down Datejust all the way around, fully iced out, and he brought it to me because the crown was not screwing in all the way. He mentioned to me where he got it from, and it's a really famous bust-down company here that had done his watch for him, and basically, I was a little concerned right when he brought it in because I was looking at the job and the crown was not screwing in all the way and it was really resistant. So I knew there was probably something wrong with the watch. I said, let me take a look at it. He just wanted to repair, and in the long run, he wanted to let go of the watch. It's a really tough question because I'm not the one buying it. If I was the one buying it, I would actually probably buy lower than 10 because this thing has so many issues. Watches like this, sometimes I buy them around 10, sometimes lower. In this case, because it is, thankfully, it is the proper movement for the watch. They did not sub out the movement. But because there are so many damages to it at this point, and I'm already looking at like somewhere between, you know, $5,000 and maybe a little more, I'm like, shoot, you know, if I would pay 10, now I've got to pay 5, you know, so my offer would be so much lower. But in my mind, because they're the ones that created and sold the product, let me just say this, because I'm not here to bash other businesses. I don't do business the way they do business, and I would expect that they should make it right, and 15 grand would be more than they should pay, but it's what they should pay to make it right. You know what I mean? $30,000, $40,000 watch that they've iced out, maybe more, and just say, well, you know, go into this, but then their profit margin, they'll make up what they're paying for you because of their profit margins. That's where I'm like, you know, that I would get as much as you can out of it, and then move forward from there, and probably not get into another watch. But that's just me. Thank you so much, Henry. I'll send you these photos. So I got it to my watchmaker. We took a look, and basically there were several pointers that were upsetting to my client because there was some damage to the watch. And this is just something to keep in mind if you are thinking about buying a bust down watch that's aftermarket, custom, that type of thing, because a lot of times the guys who create it make a lot of changes to the watch. In this particular instance, thankfully, they didn't swap out the movement for a totally different movement, but sometimes they do that. They'll just put a cheaper movement in there just to run the time. But in this case, the diamond pave on the dial was so thick that there was no room for the locks that hold the movement in place in the case. So they took the locks out and left them out, so now you've got a loose movement on the inside. That puts a lot of pressure on the actual crown, which is stuck into the movement and ended up breaking the crown. So now his crown doesn't go in. So he was worried about water damage as well, because he noticed, oh, my crown's not screwing in. Well, on top of that, the bezel was from a Datejust 41 instead of a Datejust 2. And the watch was a Datejust 2, so it didn't fit properly. So what did they do? Well, they removed the titanium ring that goes above the nylon ring, and the bezel goes on top of that. They just removed that titanium ring, which helps seal it, and glued on the bezel. And that is not going to be moisture proof, waterproof. So there was moisture damage as well. A few screws missing on the movement, just a few different things where it ended up racking up to thousands of dollars worth of repair for this guy. And he did not want to put that into the watch just to trade the watch. So he's taking that back to the people who busted down originally, and probably not going to be buying bust down like that for the future. And instead, he's turning his eyes towards pieces that are going to hold their value. He's going to buy some pieces through me, one for his fiance, one for him. He's looking at the 279178 for his fiance, 28 millimeter, maybe a 31. We're going to take a look. And then he's looking at 5980, 5990 for him. Probably going to be looking at maybe a 2017 5980. So we're looking at options, and we'll see if we can do some business with Henry. But that's something to keep in your mind too, for you guys going forward. If you are thinking about busting down a watch or buying a bust down watch, just think about the ramifications of what they're actually doing with it. It does change the value, unfortunately, quite a bit. It can drop. But yeah, if you guys are looking for any new pieces too, we've got a lot of good stock here in WOLVYN right now, so come check us out. And check our Instagram page too, because we put our first looks on there.
Doing well, how are you?
Good. Is this a good time to talk? I have one going for 14.5.
What year is that?
It's older. It's 2014, but it's in really great condition. Complete set.
14.5, and it's all authentic, all that stuff?
It is.
Okay. Can you send me a photo if you don't mind?
Okay, I'll text
Alright,
you.
great.
Thanks, Ollie.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He's actually been looking for it for a while, and every time we get one in, it sells. And now I have one, and so I just kind of need him to pull the trigger on it. We'll see what he thinks.
I was just out of town over the weekend, so I'm catching up on some of my texts. I have a client who, it's actually funny because he bought a Submariner from me, and his next watch was a Pikachu. He never thought he'd get the call. He finally got the call, and he got a Pikachu, not only just a Pikachu, but the new reference, and he was really excited about it. I remember him calling me and everything. I even wrote an appraisal for him. We started talking about some other plans that he had to do in his collection, but the Pikachu is one that was gonna most likely stay for a while at least, especially getting it at retail. But now I get a text over the weekend saying that he might be interested in selling because he's looking to get a new car. Yeah, it's just funny seeing sometimes how quickly somebody's plans or collections can change in and out. He's still on the fence whether he wants to sell it or not, but I'd like to have that watch. And I know he has some other stuff that he's lined up to get, some from his AD and some that he thinks he can get from his AD that he doesn't really want anymore. And then so he's just going to trade in because sometimes those watches, it'll just bring equity that he can put into the next piece and get it at quicker time than having to wait for the AD. Especially these ADs now, they only like to give about like 1 or 2 watches a year to most people. To him, it's not worth the wait. By the time that he actually gets the watch that he asks for, he's already moved on to something else, or he's already had the watch. That's what a lot of our clients like to do, is they make plans and they kind of strategize how they're going to build their collection. And that's what we're here for. He told me what kind of pieces he was possibly already getting in from the AD, which ones he's on the list for. I was able to kind of walk him through and say, yeah, this I think you would like, this I think you would not like, this one you have to see. Obviously giving him prices and stuff kind of gets his mind turning to what he can do once he actually gets the pieces and what pieces he actually wants to keep in his collection in the long run. That's what we're here for. I know we sell watches and that's all you guys see is just us selling watches, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff of clients, and honestly a lot of my clients end up becoming friends at some point just because we can have these conversations, not just about watches but other stuff, and kind of help them along the process. It's more of like a watch journey to us than just a simple transaction. So if you guys ever need some help like that, don't hesitate to give us a call. That's what we're here for. I mean, I do watches all day, every day, so it's an awesome feeling helping our clients through the watch collecting journey.